The following segment is sponsored by Fisher House Foundation. As Veterans Day approaches, we honor the brave men and women who have served our country. However, true appreciation extends beyond a single day of recognition. It involves continuous support year-round. Ken Fisher is here to share the challenges facing our military community and the ways everyday people can express gratitude. Ken, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Elora. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So let's start off with, what are key challenges facing our military community today?
Well, here we are 3 years since our last deployment in Afghanistan, and what we found is that there are still some issues with the transition from military to civilian life. A lot of that, I think, can be attributed to the unseen wounds of war, post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injury, that have resulted in some pretty sobering statistics. Left untreated, what we found is that 30,000 men and women have committed suicide over the last 20-year period. That's compared to 7,000 that we lost in combat. That's 4 times the amount that we've lost to suicide. Now, obviously, this means that we are falling a bit short in terms of aiding our military servicemen and women and veterans and their families, in terms of getting them to come forward, removing the stigma, and making it okay to come forward and say, you know what, I need help.
Absolutely, and those statistics are so heartbreaking. But speaking of coming forward and saying it's okay, you can ask for help, can you tell us about the Fisher House Foundation and its mission?
The mission of Fisher House primarily is that we build comfort homes at the military and veterans hospitals around the country and recently around the world. We offer free lodging for these families to stay in at no charge for as long as they need to. But what happens inside the houses is more than just that. The support system that forms in every house, has aided these families in ways that we could never have quantified. The families will support each other. They share the joy of the good days, sorrow of the bad. Not every story has a happy ending, but in the end, they know that they're not alone, that there's other people going through this experience, and that makes them better caregivers in the long run, because of these services that are provided.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, veterans have done so much for all of us. How can individuals, bridge the gap in communities?
That's a hard one because, there's very little commonality of experience between the civilian sector and the military sector. There's still a lot we as civilians need to learn. And the best way I found to learn is to take a day like Veterans Day, when there's so much about veterans being discussed, so much information that is out there that we can tap into, that we can learn about the plight of the military family, about the veteran, the serviceman or woman, and become better ourselves at honoring their service and their sacrifice.
Absolutely. Ken, well, thank you so much for being with us today and all the information you've shared and all the work you're doing. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.